really prayed today about what God wanted me to say, or wanted me to preach to not only to the young people. We call this the youth, service night. It's mainly youth service after this service. But I got to thinking about it, and we adults fall into the same shortcomings as they do sometimes, just on a different scale. Back a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, Abby had done gone to bed, and I think I was up watching something, as she calls some stupid television, some kind of documentary, something or other, on sea turtles in Hawaii. Anybody else agree with her that that's stupid television?
Amen.
So, these are called, now I forgot what it is, hawksbill sea turtles. Anybody ever heard of that before? They live very few places. Hawaii is one of them on the Big Island. They'll come up every 2 years and lay their eggs. And they don't just lay like chickens. They don't just lay 6 or 8 or 4 or however many it lays. It lays 140 eggs, 120 to 140 eggs at a time. It burrows holes in the ground for a day or so and lays all those eggs. And when it gets done laying the eggs, it covers them back up with sand and swims back to sea. Its job's done. And nature takes its course, and those hawksbill sea turtle hatchlings come out of the sand knowing which way to go. Right to the sea. They know exactly which way to go when they come out of that sand. Do you know what guides them that way? The light. You can take a flashlight, and you can look this up on YouTube or somewhere and watch the videos on it, but you can take a flashlight and wave it in front of that hatchling turtle, and it will follow that light. Now tie that into us. We know, pretty much everybody here in church tonight, know which way we're supposed to go. To stay out of trouble, to be guided directly to the path that we need to be guided on, to go where we need to go, to enter into that land of milk and honey per se, for that sea turtle is to hit the ocean. But far too often it can become distracted. In Hawaii, at the time that they have the birthings of these hatchling turtles, they turn off the street lights and everything so that it won't be a distraction to these turtles. That way they'll get the exact light, because they're born during the night most of the time, and they'll see the moon reflecting off of the ocean, and that's how they know which way they're supposed to go. See, sometimes when those turtles, just like us, when they get distracted and maybe slow down on the path that God wants them to be on, just like us, God wants us to be on, they can be devoured by prey. Just like us, sometimes if we get distracted from the path that we're supposed to go on, if we're not careful, the devil will consume us before we know it, won't he? The devil will wrap us up in John chapter 14, verse 6. Mickey's got it. I'm going to read it off there. So Jesus said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. He's the light of our life, isn't he? Amen. He is the light that we follow. He's the way, the truth, and the life. He's those three things for us. He should be our total world, shouldn't he? When you wrap those things all together, the way, the truth, and the life, there's nothing else there. If He's your life, you'll be following the right path. If you remember that when you get lost and confused and don't know which way to go, if you'll remember that He's the way, you'll be headed in the right path. Tonight, we as adults get just as confused as these youngsters sometimes. Maybe on a little different scale. But just like them, we get confused. We get those lights maybe to shine around And the devil will put those lights out just to catch our eyes. Just to keep us off the path. That way he can come through and as prey consume us or eat us up with whatever that is out there that will keep us off of where we need to go. The direction that we need to travel. So tonight, my thing to all of you is to remember Jesus is the truth. Jesus is the truth. If you ever get confused about a problem or a question, who do you take it to? He's going to take the truth. Sometimes the truth may not be what you want to hear. Right? Has anybody ever been there? I've been there. I fought called to preach for years and years and years. And it wasn't until I got to a spot in my life where I said, Jesus, I'll do whatever. Whatever it takes to get back in the pocket where you want me to be. I'll do whatever it takes. And sometimes, just like we was talking this morning with that shepherd, sometimes when that hook digs in, you know, I get to thinking about there's a whole lot of stuff I could have brought out about how stupid sheep are. Anybody ever read anything about sheep? They're about the dumbest animals on the face of the planet. That's us sometimes, ain't it? I mean, we've got a Savior that does everything in the world to try to keep us safe, to try to keep us protected, and keep us on the right path. And we still miss it. Why? Because we forget sometimes that He's the way, the truth, and life. Because we get distracted by those lights from Satan instead of concentrating on the light, Him. Whatever His will is for us in our life, that's the direction we need to be headed. You say, well, Micah, I get confused sometimes that those lights, I don't know which path I should be going on, which light is the right light for me to follow. If you'll make Jesus your life, you'll know exactly which way to follow, which path to go down. You say, Mike, this is the weirdest message I've ever heard about. I'm still seeing there. Maybe you'll remember. So when you get confused, when you get in that spot and you say, Mike, I don't know what to do. God help me. I don't know what to do. I don't know which way to turn. I don't know which path to go down. Head toward Him. Head toward Him. You know, sometimes that figure of Him that we're walking behind down that path, sometimes we'll dart to the right or to the left, and He keeps walking and He gets out of sight. But if we'll stay close to Him and follow Him down that path, realize that He is the way, the truth, and the life, we'll head directly towards that light of Jesus, right toward the place where we need to be in our life. Amen? Amen.
Is that a spiritually geography lesson? Is that geography? Is that what that would be called?
Science. Animal science.
Okay. So even if the animals can follow the light, we ought to be able to follow the light, right? I think so. I really think that. If you just use the...
They come out of the womb knowing to follow the light. They come out of the egg knowing to follow the light.
Tonight here, if anybody has a need anyway, this last week, I got to visit a lot of homes. This lady's real sick, and I won't mention names because that's not the point. Lord knows who she is. And every time I go there, she asks me about praying for her family. exhausted all of her financial means of helping her family. And not that her family is bad. It's not drugs or it's not anything like that. It's just, he lost his job. Right after he lost his job, she lost hers. The day I was out there, they was fixing to turn the lights off, the electricity. She said, Brother Sammy, I prayed. And I prayed. And sometimes I get to where I say, Lord, why are you not answering my prayer? He just come to me. I said, do they go to church? They've started. They really got in there. And she said that I've witnessed to them and I've told them they need to find some good place to go to church and find the Lord of their life. Find the Lord and let Him in. And I looked at her right straight in the face. And I said, you know what? God has probably answered your prayer. Because see which way they turn. It'd be worth losing, not having nothing, and make preparations to go to heaven. It would be have all the money in the world. I ain't go to hell. But think about that for a minute. God probably has answered her prayer. And said, you think so, Brother Sammy? And I said, they're going to church, ain't they? Good witness. I mean, that still, because they go to church, don't mean that they're going to heaven. It means that God's working. God's working. God's trying to get them to the place that they can find peace. Here tonight, God's working. In this message, Micah don't know how that worked. Because I believe it has touched somebody here in this service. Let's stand our heads for this.